So you had to take that risk, that crazy risk.
Yeah. And it's like, you don't understand like the amount of interns I get asking, like, will send me one email asking, oh, can I come and intern for you? You know, and like the answer is always yes. Like, we don't say no to people who want to learn. Like, you can come and learn from us. Like, we give it away. Don't hear from them again. You know?
Why?
I don't know. There isn't a hunger. I don't know. It's like there's a want for it, but there's like not a hunger for it.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Film Biz Show, the only show where we delve into the minds of industry professionals to get their insights on the current landscape of the film and TV industry, both locally and internationally. Please subscribe, like, comment, and turn on the notification button so you are aware of our future episodes that you will love so much. Now, today we're moving over to post-production. And most of the time, people think that editors are stuck in the room and cutting these scenes all alone. But in fact, most of the time, they're collaborative and they're passion-filled. So now our guest today is no stranger to that. A man of many talents. He's best known for his works Triggered, House on the Willow, The Unforgiving, Indigenous, Exploration, and Wild in the Wind. He also plays an important role in running his companies, The Refinery and The First Order, which are both known for their stellar work. A jack of all trades and also somehow a master of them too. Please, guys, let's give it up for Mr. Alastair.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming. Joburg seems to be getting a bit warmer now, now that we go into the December season. And I'm glad that you're down this side. I know that now that you guys have acquired the refinery, you there some of the time? How often are you that side?
No, we're down there about 2 weeks out of every month. We try and split it evenly.
Yeah.
It's different because we're trying to build a business in Joburg, but also like run a business in Cape Town. So it's like different headspaces, and it's been challenging on our families and us. But yeah, we're getting there. We're surviving.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, how's that been going with the acquisition of the refinery? It's a company with quite an extensive history and a culture. What are you guys bringing to kind of spice it up, and how are you finding, are the people being receptive to the changes?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, the refinery is an institution in the South African film industry.
Yeah.
It's been around for many years. I mean, I think even a few decades. And the problem with the refinery is that everybody has an opinion of it.
Yeah.
You know, not everyone has had the greatest experience over these. You can't be running for 30 years and just have a stellar reputation. You know, so it was a big challenge for us. It was a risk that we took in the strategy of our business, but it was something that we just couldn't pass up. We wanted to bring, we're filmmakers, not businessmen. So like we approached this thing with honesty, sincerity, and love. Like we wanted to just do the best we can for the people there and the best that we can for us. And just turn the image of it around that anybody is welcome. Previously, it's been like seen as the big international post-production company in South Africa. We wanted to change that perception. We wanted to open the doors to the local filmmakers, the filmmakers that didn't think that they could get in there before, and be more filmmaker friendly, that kind of thing.
Yeah, man, that's really good, man. Because taking on such a giant, I'm sure it does come with a lot of changes in your personal life, and you have to change, kind of adjust. And balancing both companies comes with its own challenges as well.
And it's two very different companies. The company we built in Joburg, The First Order, has been a company that, we don't want to say family, but it has. It's been forged in fire with certain people, and we've selected the people and they've stuck with us for the last 10 years, so we've grown close together and it's a small knit team. Whereas Refinery is a lot more of a corporate juggernaut. We don't come in there like with MBAs or anything like that or law degrees. We come in there with our, thank God we don't have an HR department, like that kind of attitude. Yeah, but it is. It's just to approach the situation with honesty, sincerity, and do what's best for the people and the business. You know, we feel like doing good business is good for the business.
I mean, Alastair, you didn't study, business studies or anything like that. You were full-on creative, but you managed, and the First Order has been there for like a decade now.
Yeah.
How have you done it? What do you think is your secret ingredient in this consistency?
We've always like kept within our means. We've never like gone and splashed out before we could. We've been very disciplined. Like during COVID, we didn't have to cut salaries or anything like that because we maintained discipline and just always reinvested in the business. Like we were never satisfied with where we were at. We always wanted to grow. And we knew that we weren't going to grow by buying fancy cars or fancy houses.
Yeah, right.
We needed to like invest in ourselves. We invested in ourselves when no one else would. And we knew how hard we worked for that money, so we kept it like very tight to cover the bad times.
That's really special, man. But there's this phrase that every editor really just hates. Everyone who works in post, right? Fix it in post. If there's any problem, don't worry, we'll fix it in post. But do you feel that sometimes our industry doesn't consider post-production as much as they should when shooting or in the pre-production phase, especially in television?
No, look, I love the term "fix it in post" because it means I'm going to make some money.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, we can fix it.
Go.
We can fix anything. It's almost like just a bit of lack of education about what actually goes on in post production because everything can be like. You can download an app on your phone and people are seeing Midjourney and, all these like apps that can do amazing things.
Yeah, right.
The expectation is just ridiculous. You know, it's just like, oh, all right, we can just paint it out, or we can just put in a truck or change the, we can just remove the lighting from the shot. Look, we try with supervisors on set, but often we don't have budgets, like the filmmakers don't have budgets for this like this. There almost needs to be like a bit of an education of like how you can shoot so you can fix it in post, which we're happy to do. We love engaging with people on the script level before they start shooting. There's this another saying called fix it in pre-prod. We try and attempt that, but mistakes do happen on set, and like set is like high stress and it's chaos. So mistakes do happen, and you are going to have to do some cleanups in post. But if you have a little bit of training, a little bit of education about, all right, well, it's easier if we're not shooting through this like plant over here to paint out something in the background over there. We just move the camera just a little bit that way. This becomes an easy fix, not a difficult fix. And that's what it is. But also, it's like with South African films, I feel like because they're getting more and more ambitious, it's like their level is getting better and better. The knowledge base is getting like way, way deeper. And I'm actually impressed now. Like we're dealing with about 3 directors that have exceptional knowledge of VFX, and they approach situations very different to us. And they go like, oh yeah, but what happens if you do it like this? And you're like, yeah, fuck, like, we can do it that way. That's actually a better way,
And in terms of, the development process, pre-prod, how collaborative and inclusive are our directors, or, do you feel like you guys could engage more to get a sense of what's to come in post?
Like directors are a special breed. They're quite precious, so they come in with their own opinions on how things should be,
and you being one yourself.
It's just like we're sensitive. We can be sensitive. So it's all about like just approaching it from the right attitude. So if the director comes in and he's prepared and he's got his storyboard and he's got his references and he's realistic about what he wants to achieve, like, we can talk, we can figure this out. We've got the professionals behind us that can execute whatever you want if you're clear on your vision. The worst thing is this vague kind of brief, like I want it to feel like this, Spike Lee meets Quentin. It's like, what are you on about?
Like, get out of here.
It's like, just show me a picture, like show me a reference, like show us how it's been done before, and how you want to change it, you know, and we can work together to do that.
Okay. But in your approach, when you're in the director's seat,
Well, yeah, that's what I expect from directors because that's what I do. Like I come in with my scribbled sketch drawings and I, you know, steal stuff from other movies and Pinterest and websites. Like, you know, I come in with my frame grabs and I go like, this is the reference, you know, this is what I want and this is how we can make it different.
and obviously you've also directed some, international work. When it comes to prepping your actors for the process, what are the trends that you've seen and you've incorporated in your process, which aren't necessarily being, used most of the time in local productions?
Well, look, I don't know if I've been doing it right. Like my films aren't really known for their great performances, like horror films or action films or something like that. So like, because those films are so technical, like I hate doing rehearsals. I just feel like it's not, it's such a sterile environment. I'm not going to ever benefit from this. And then it also depends on the type of actor you get. Some actors are super needy and they'll come and just ask questions. So, I mean, sometimes that is so sometimes those like in-depth discussions are more beneficial than having like a forced rehearsal or anything.
Yeah.
On this last film we did now, it was an action film and there was a little girl that we just wanted to test her out and warm up to her and see like what that process was. So we had like an hour or two rehearsals with her. But even there it was like, this is just, we're rehearsing in a space that just isn't what it's going to be. It's going to be like a dark, dingy dungeon with sparks flying and everything. And here we're just sitting in an office, And that's exactly the way it turned out. The performance on the day was just so much more.
Because the environment informs that performance, doesn't it? Yeah.
I like to give the actors all my references. I like to treat them as part of the technical crew as well. So that they know what we're trying to get to and the feeling that we're trying to do. I approach every scene that I do with a reference. It's like, this is what the greats have done, or this is what the bad guys have done. We need to do better.
Interesting. So, I guess, with all these different hats that you wear, you're a businessman, you do posts as an editor, director. What was that aha moment for you to say, man, you know what? My life is going to be dedicated to storytelling. What happened? How did that come about?
So, I mean, the aha moment came way later in life, in my teenage years, but it was definitely like the seed was planted way earlier.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that film was actually going to be an option. I was growing up in Pietermaritzburg, very middle-class family. Back then, there wasn't access to the content that it was today. Like going to the video store, it was a special occasion. Or seeing, when movies were released, they'd release the poster first at the cinema. You'd be like, I remember seeing the Blade poster, and you don't know anything other than there's a movie coming out. It's got Wesley Snipes in it. It looks cool as hell, and it's called Blade. And then you wait 2 months and then you see the trailer for it in the cinema, and it comes out of nowhere. You see that red New Line logo pop up and like, oh shit, it's a vampire movie. Like this is, so it's like this
anticipation.
This anticipation. It's like, it's part of the whole process, And then like the film comes up and it's like age restricted 16 and you're 14. So you're like, got to try and sneak in. It's like all this experience that you don't get now with films, it's like, it's just literally, you go on a Friday night on Netflix or Amazon or Showmax and suddenly it's there, and that's cool. But like that excitement and that build up, it was never there. So growing up, like that kind of stuff, I loved like, going to the video store and renting RoboCop and that kind of stuff and saying it was for my parents, all that age restricted stuff that like we weren't supposed to be doing. But those VHS tapes were my babysitter. Like that's what we'd spend our holidays doing. My friends and I, we didn't have video cameras or anything like that, but we would make these little stupid plays, but violent plays with like mud as blood and
And who
that
would
kind
see
of
them?
thing.
Who would-
Absolutely no one. I think we'd get like bored halfway through doing it. And then yeah, it was actually, I came out of Gladiator when I was 16. And I was just blown away by that movie. I just loved that movie so much. And I was like, maybe I must actually
Pursue this.
pursue this. This thing is just, it just changed my perspective on like it was such a technical feat that I realized there were so many people involved in this. Like I could be somebody on that. I don't have to be the director. I don't have to be the writer. I don't have to be the actor. I could be somebody on that, but I want to be around something on that level of film.
Sure. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. And obviously now, I mean, your work does speak for itself in terms of the quality that you're producing.
Not if you go to IMDb.
Well, we'll check that out.
The quality, yeah.
The-
Few thousand people disagree with your comment there.
My
but,
comment. Well, I mean, we've checked your reel, and your reel
Cool.
looks. It really is. It blows you away. You know,
Cool.
I was telling the team that Alastair's your biography. It can get a bit intimidating when you look at it in terms of what you've managed to achieve in such a short space of time, and given your age. But I mean, it gives a sense of, there's a lot of intention and care in everything that you touch. And in terms of like your CGI and VFX work, what was the process for achieving that quality of work?
Look, I mean, the reel is obviously like an extreme highlights package.
Yeah.
There's stuff that I don't want to show you. So like the CGI was just an evolution. Like it was something that I was always interested in. Like I don't think my films are too CG heavy. I think the secret sauce there is that we did as much practically as possible on set.
Yeah.
So we always had some kind of reference to start with. So like on Indigenous, we had the monster completely done in makeup.
Oh.
On set with contact lenses and fake teeth and blood coming out of his mouth. So the only thing we have to CGI is the tongue. We're not trying to, and we distorted the mouth a little bit, but like the base was there. We're not creating this thing from scratch. There's always something tangible that the camera is shooting. And I think that's where, one, it saves you money, and two, it's just, your eye is drawn to what's not real. So if you can fill up the frame with as much reality as possible, I think that's your golden ticket.
Okay. So it doesn't give away too much. Okay. So I mean, and someone who's working in post, time. We all know time is a huge factor.
Yeah.
In achieving the work that you achieve, but sometimes there isn't enough time. Sometimes you have to rush processes and get things going, especially in the local industry, both with films and television. I mean, in commercials. How do you set those boundaries, for yourself? Then translate that to clients giving you the time that you need to achieve.
It's difficult, and now running the company, you want to look out for your staff as well. You don't want them to just have to work through the night to get something done. So we do try and set milestones for clients. Like we try to figure out what the deadline is from the very beginning to set like an achievable pace for this thing. And then we monitor it on the job. We go, all right, cool. Like we need the directors in here 5 days of the week. They need to be sitting here in the edit suite, like locking this stuff down, Producers approving on Saturdays and Sundays. So on Monday we can start again without losing any time. It's difficult when you're editing by committee, when there's like lots of agency approvals and then the production house approval first, then agency approval, then client approval. It's like, let's rather get the people who have the final say in the room from the beginning to get their opinion. It's like when I'm interpreting what I think you want, that's when we've got problems.
Yeah.
And that's when we have our biggest issues in post. It's an agency is interpreting or like trying to walk on eggshells around what they think the client wants. And sometimes they do, but a lot of times they don't. I mean, we've got high pressure deadlines and people are away from their families working on Sunday nights. Like, show some respect and get the people who are making the call to make the call.
Yeah, it almost seems so unnecessary to have this, meeting after meeting, client, production house, then
Yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah.
is, and like that's why when the way we run our business and it's on our website as well, it's like there's no egos. You deal directly with the creative. We just work with the client.
Yeah.
It's like let's get it done. Let's smash this vision out the park.
Now your journey, into filmmaking and go to after, that was a bit of a challenging and interesting kind of journey. Do you mind just sharing with us?
Yeah, sure. So I went to Apton in 2000. No, I finished in 2005. I went in 2003, and after back then was like it's very different to what it is now. Like now it's like quite like slick,
Yeah.
and they've got like Alexas and all this kind of stuff. When I went there, it was like a bit of a gamble. Like it was, a dodgy little film school, like in this like back lot kind of thing. That's kind of what excited me. My parents were like, they're actually super into it. Like Garth, the CEO or whatever at the time. He took the time to come and show us around this place. We were like the family from Maritzburg. They drove up one Friday to come and see the place. And it was like, it was cool. It was these dodgy little classrooms and, making these films on film. Yeah, it was super awesome. I kind of went there on a bit of a scholarship. It wasn't a full scholarship. It was super expensive even back then. But I knew it was like my gateway into the industry. It was definitely the right choice.
And now you leaving, after graduating, I'm sure it wasn't easy getting employment. How did you navigate your way into the actual marketplace? How did you find yourself?
Yeah, sure. So like, you go there, you want to be a director. There's a million directors. You want to be, that's what everyone wants to be. And yeah, there's only place for a few directors, and then there's even less place for directors, recent graduates in the real world. So I learned very early on, I realized early on that nobody's going to hire a director straight out of film school, but they probably hire an editor straight out of film school. So I studied editing, and I used that as like my back door into directing. Like I got a stable job, was able to get my own place, pay off cars, that kind of stuff. Build your life. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't difficult for me to get that work. Yeah, it was easy to get that work. It was harder to be happy with that work. I'm a creative guy. Like I wanted to make my own movies, but I was editing other people's stuff, and it was mainly corporate videos and that kind of stuff. Like every now and then it was
Lots of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Every now and then there was some cool stuff, but like by and large it was boring corporate stuff,
Yeah.
But it paid the bills, and I was able to save some money, not a lot of money. And after that, got a few friends together and we made our own film. Like we made our own feature film. It was 50,000 Rand. Shot it on dodgy HD cameras. There was a gear house down the road from us. I can't remember what it was. But this camera was so outdated, they gave it to us for free only if we use it on weekends.
Wow.
But it's also like didn't have batteries and all that kind of stuff. You had to plug it into like the wall sockets and run extensions and generators and all this stuff. So we made it work,
Yeah. I guess you never really know someone's hustle and what made them come up. You always assume. I mean, now you're an owner of two companies that are doing very well. So one might assume that it just came easily. And
no, exactly. Yeah, we never ever had backing. Like I said before, like we invested in ourselves, and like the people I've surrounded myself with are the same. They invest in themselves when no one else does.
Yeah.
We back ourselves. So it's like now to make that film, The Unforgiving, now to be a walk in the park. Like with the technology, I mean, our phone cameras are better than the cameras that we shot on. But it's like that kind of tenacity. I don't know if you see too much of that anymore.
Yeah, man. But how did the actual film do in the marketplace?
Look, the film turned out terrible. Like people hated it. People thought it was like the biggest piece of crap, like ever. But yeah, it did pretty well. Like it did well. It was on the DVD sales, like it was in the DVD market before the DVD crash. So we sold it overseas. We had a foreign sales agent. So yeah, we killed it. Like
Wonderful.
we had a cool poster, like cool trailer, and that's kind of all you needed back then, you know. And then from that, we took that money and reinvested into like another film, and we kind of built our way up like that.
It's funny, you know, learning that, you know, sometimes commercial success doesn't mean there's artistic success, you know. Doesn't it? And sometimes vice versa. You can come up with something that's beautiful, but it just doesn't relate to the rands and cents.
Yeah, it is show business. It's like you need to balance the two out. It's like you need to have a practical approach. Like I knew, like my passion project, I haven't been able to make my passion project, you know, but I wasn't going to sit around and wait 12 years to do that. I was like, this is what I've got. These are the friends that I've got. This is the technology that I've got. These are my skills.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Yeah, I love that, man. So, you know, moving, you know, to storytelling, the industry seems to be stuck in this bubble, you know, of telling, especially the local television industry, where we tell witchcraft stories, you know, dramas, crime, telenovelas and the likes. However, when we look at your work, it feels like you're willing to take a risk. Your work has an international feel to it. Do you think as a South African industry, we're too afraid to take risks? And do you think, or let me ask this, what do you think is hindering us from breaking that boundary?
I do think the gatekeepers are afraid to take risk. I definitely, without doubt, I feel like the gatekeepers are backing like the tried and tested stories. I don't know if they're all working. Yeah, for me, that was always something that was boring for me. Like, I also knew, like, back then when I started with the film stuff, like, I knew South Africa wasn't going to buy my stuff, so I had to make it for the international side. So, for better or worse, that's what I did, but I made my money overseas. I didn't make it over here. Now I'm bringing that I'm bringing that skill set, mindset here, and now I'm incorporating it into South African stories. And I'm like seeing like great success with that. Yeah, I don't know, like it's always the same stuff, like stuff on TV and the streaming stuff. It just feels like this is not high concept. This is not like risque, you know, it's like you see the Korean stuff and it's like wild, and you see, you know, like
Scandinavian
stuff, and it's like just the way that they're playing with narrative, or you know, it's just risky, you know, and like do 9 safe movies and 1 risky one, you know, like at least do that. But it's not. It's like I don't know. It feels like it's made by committee here again. You know, it's like you got to please 30 executives or something like that. That I don't know. It's not. It's not very exciting, huh?
No, not at all. And we keep on, you know, we seem to be celebrating this mediocrity.
Like the talent is here, and like it's like you see some astounding shots. You know, you see some astounding sequences, but it's like the actual concept of the story is like this probably wouldn't get made anywhere. You know, it wouldn't get the attention of anyone. You know, it's like I don't know. I'm trying to think what my like best. Like I like Gaia. Gaia was a great film. Like I don't know if you saw that. That was that I thought was like risky, high concept, well executed. You know, like a bit experimental. You know, that was awesome.
Yeah. So I had a chat with one of our previous guests, and she was talking about, you know, how she'd love, or how she's noticed that the banks in other countries are financing films. And in South Africa, it doesn't seem to be the case because there isn't much, you know, faith, you know, in the business that you will actually make ROI. And maybe the reason is exactly what you're talking about, that our films are not pushing, you know, trying to kind of, you know, push us over this.
No, because like again,
edge.
I don't want to say there's no consequence, but it's like the streamer will come in and go, well, this is our audience. This is the type of film they like, to make that film. you know, and then they'll buy other like films that just fit that mold, but nothing's going to break out. Like nobody relies on the box office. Like when was the last time a South African film was released at the cinema? It doesn't happen anymore. So like you don't have to have that like killer concept, you know. Yeah, I don't know too much about like the financing model of things at all. No, I don't know about banks and stuff, but like, I guess for me, I see like there is a model that could work, like because you'd get like, you could pre-sell films and then roll that finance with banks. But I don't know, I don't know what the banks are doing. Like, I haven't heard anything about that.
Interesting, man. So, I mean, you've set an amazing standard for both your companies, you know, with the quality of work that you guys do, the First Order and the Refinery. A lot of people look up to you, you know, as sort of a role model of some sort. What tools do you think they need to, or what nuggets, you know, can you share with us from your personal journey that, you know, young people can incorporate in their lives to become the next Alastair?
Sure, thank you for saying that. It's like quite humbling. I mean, I don't know what the recipe is to be me. Like I'd change a lot of things about the way I've done things and how I've done things. I would say the big thing is to put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, man.
Like back yourself when
No one does.
no one does. Like,
Yeah, man.
yeah, and the technology is there. You can do it. You can go out and shoot a short film with your friends right now. We could do it right now with what we've got. And also, like, I just say it's resilience. I've been told no a million times. Like if I listened to anyone, I wouldn't be here today. Like I just had this like stupid, dumb, blind faith in myself. Yeah, it is. It's embarrassing thinking back to the things that I've said to people or like the things that I've done. Like when I finished my first film, I went to the States with DVD copies of it, you know, looking up addresses of like Hollywood producers, you know, knocking on their doors going, can you take my DVD? You know, and it's like you're sitting on that plane going, what the fuck? I'm like, this is mad. I've got like 100 DVDs. Like, this is insane. You know, and like, it's soul crushing when you put your savings into a film that, you know, you expect people, you can't even give it away overseas. You know, people won't even answer the door for you, you know. But I knew, it's like, I don't need 100 people to take it. I just need 10 people to take it. And I don't need 10 people to like it. I only need one person to like it. And that's what happened, you know. It was. I showed it to the right person at the right time. And they gave me a, you know, like an international film.
So you had to take that risk, that crazy risk.
Yeah. And it's like, you don't understand like the amount of interns I get asking, like, will send me one email asking, oh, can I come and intern for you? You know, and like the answer is always yes. Like we don't say no to people who want to learn. Like you can come and learn from us. Like we give it away. Don't hear from them again. You know?
Why?
I don't know. It's like there isn't a hunger. I don't know. It's like there's a want for it, but there's like not a hunger for it.
Which is what I think is happening in this generation, right? This microwave generation where everything just happens so easily. As you were saying, there's no anticipation to the release of a film. You just switch on your telly, it's there. And I think with these kids, perhaps that fight that you had in your younger days, you don't see as much, and it's as a result of what's happening just across the board. Yeah, everything is ready made. Sad though, sad. So now we've had this conversation, you know, with many of our guests about the race factor, and how privilege tends to play a huge role in the type of work that we get, you know, and how it plays a role in the overall quality, I guess, somehow. I'm curious to know your point of view in a country like South Africa. What's your take on this? matter?
Look, my privilege is something that like I'm coming to terms with, and I'm still learning about day to day. It's like a fairly new kind of ideology. I know
Concept
it's been
to grasp.
Concept to grasp.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yes, like I privileged. Like I had it. Like I used it. Like now for me, it's like I'm giving back. Like I'm trying to, I'm trying to take what I've learned and I'm giving it back. We are empowering people at our studios like no one else. Like we are like creating editors out of like
Thin air.
People are coming in, the people that are coming in and saying like we want to intern, they're interning, we're turning them into assistant editors, we're then turning them into editors, from that online editors now into coloring. Like we are building people up as much as we can. So obviously like it's like a sensitive question, so it's like you try and figure out exactly what it is. But yeah, like it definitely opened doors to me. Like, yeah, I had access to things that other people didn't have access to. Like, and I appreciate that, and I respect that. And I took that. Yeah, I mean, I think there were people that had more privilege than me, but yeah, I had it, and I think I almost weaponized it into like where I wanted to go. Like I took what I was given, and I multiplied it by 10, 20, and then just try to climb the ladder further and further and further. And when I saw things weren't working out for me in South Africa, I used it overseas, Yeah, I had a government school education, worked my way through varsity. I had a bit of a scholarship. Yeah, it was hard for me, but it's definitely harder for the other kids.
Yeah, no, we really do hope that we'll be able to show the world the incredible work that you're doing on the ground, because this is the stuff that no one really knows about, the change that you make behind closed doors. I think people deserve to know, and so they can have a renewed hope in the hearts of people such as yourself.
I mean, I think back to that privilege thing. It even goes further than that. Like, it's like my passion for film came from me having actually access to go into a cinema. Yeah, it's like maybe if I was watching those films like on pirated copies and that kind of thing, I don't know if it would have been the wow factor that it was for me. So it's like, yeah, the privilege thing is a deep question, huh?
It's like a mirror being put in your face, and you have to be kind of honest about but how far you've come.
Yeah, and also kind of like not justify what you've done, but defend. Defend the luck you were given. Like, so the easy question is like, oh, but I worked so hard for it myself, but like I didn't have the privilege, So it's like it is a difficult one to contextualize just in like a few sentences. So apologies if I've offended anyone.
No, but I think it's always a good exercise to check ourselves in terms of the privilege we have and the power that we have that we don't realize. I mean, even as myself, as a young black male, there's a privilege that I have, coming from where I come from. So it's always, I think it's always objective.
Yeah.
And it's ever shifting and changing concept.
Yes.
It's never static.
Malleable, yeah.
It's never static. As you're saying, growing up where you grew up, you weren't aware of your privilege,
Oh, no.
No.
It's only something that came to the fray like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
oh, shit.
Actually,
That's cool.
I had
That was cool.
I had it good.
I had it good.
I didn't climb any taxis,
Yeah.
but
I was talking to a documentary director, black girl, and she was saying it's like she had never been in a helicopter, so it's like now she's got to film. She lost out on jobs, like where she was filming. She needed to film in this helicopter, but she was terrified of this helicopter.
Sure, man.
And then I was like, oh yeah, like
I grew up.
shit, yeah,
It was nothing for me.
yeah,
Yeah. Such is life, man. We live in
But it wasn't helicopter. It was like jumping into water. You know,
Oh.
it was like lifeguarding kind of stuff. You know, it was a
Okay.
documentary on lifeguarding.
Makes
you
a
know,
lot of sense.
and then like she couldn't get onto the boats and stuff like that. She was scared of the water. You know, and it was like that was like
Yeah.
it hit home. I was like, wow, that
Yeah.
it's not like seen as like a racist thing, but it is like a systemic kind of, you know.
You grew up with a pool.
Yeah, exactly. not yeah.
Yeah, these things we really we overlook them because
Yeah,
it's a small
completely.
thing. Yeah.
That's just life, you know. and
Yeah.
your life is completely different.
Sometimes it's just how the dice for us does roll for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, lastly, what are some of the things that you wish we could improve in our film industry, and what are some of the highlights that you say, what, that's what makes us special as South Africans?
What makes us special as South Africans? Like we've definitely got a texture to our stories. Like we've definitely got a grit. We can tell incredibly funny, incredibly touching, incredibly scary stories. You know, we don't have to be like, if we could just get out of this box that we're in, like we can tell like exceptional stories. So for me, I think what could change is maybe a little bit more risk taking in the higher up like echelons of like whoever's commissioning this stuff. Maybe make smaller films, like instead of spending 30-40 million rand on one film, do 6 that are like gonna for 5 bar, and give everyone a chance, and then from those 5, one guy like really excels, and now you've got like the next guy, your content quota is filled. And you might get something like really, really amazing. You might like, it's like, I don't know if Parasite, would they have done that movie here? Like it could have been a South African movie.
Okay,
I mean, I don't know if they would have done it.
Yeah, I know. And if you have to try with their Netflix collaboration with
what happened with that? Did any of those films?
Yeah, in fact, it was part of one of the films. I know my business partner also worked on a different one, and we had the director here, but I don't know, maybe scheduling. I'm not sure, because we shot this film literally in 2022.
Just after COVID or something.
Yeah. And it still hasn't been released. So, but apparently they'll be released in December.
Okay.
We'll see. It's November now. I haven't seen any promo. So, I mean, with all the exposure that you've managed to get, throughout these years, you've obviously worked with some of the best filmmakers in the world. What is it that you can take from these experiences that you would like to implement into the South African context?
Sure. I don't think I've worked with the best filmmakers in the world.
Really?
It's like, I have worked on American stuff. There was a time when I thought, like that's where I needed to be. Like I needed to be in the States, working in the hustle and bustle of LA with the best filmmakers in the world. Like I wasn't really working with them, but I was definitely in that vicinity. I was working with the guys who did Sin City, like Machete, Hacksaw Ridge, that kind of stuff. So we're like all in. I was sharing offices with Matt Shackman now, and he's directing Fantastic Four. So it's like I was in that vicinity, but I realized like we can do it back home. Like I can come back home, I can take this model, like we can do this here. It's gonna be like, it's gonna be way easier to do it in South Africa.
Okay.
So that's when I came back home and I made my company. That's like, it was kind of our ethos was to make that international level film. And it's actually pretty easy to make a film look international. So like I think the one thing that we can like improve on in South Africa, like what I feel like the international guys are doing much better is like the scripts. The scripts overseas are like well developed, like way like more written, like they're not indulgent, they're like written for an audience. They're written with pace in mind. They're written with budgets in mind. Like we have exceptional talent here. We've got exceptional technical talent. We've got the best DOPs. We've got the best actors, we've got the best art directors, we have got like all the talent in the world, like, and there's some like shining examples of great scripts, but like by and large the scripts are just bogged down with like boring stuff, you know. We can do so much better, like from a script writing point of view. We have got so many novels that we can turn into scripts or TV series, that kind of thing. So like that's my opinion. Like that's where I think it all starts. Is like, and this is coming from guys like from me. Like I wrote terrible scripts. It took me 4 movies to realize I actually needed to hire a script writer. You know, it was like that. It was like how naive I was. You know. So yeah, it's like it's cheap to write scripts, like compared to making bad movies.
It's true.
You know, you put some money into funding a screenwriter for a year.
Yeah.
You know, to like develop the script. I know a script takes longer than a year, but get something that's a first draft or a second draft that shows some kind of potential, and spend a year just refining it, just crafting it. I think that's when we would really, really soar.
And we do have those institutional supports.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, too, especially when it comes to development.
The NFVF, there's the Realness Institute. But yeah, we just need like way more.
To really tilt the soil, get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Not just the surface level kind of bullshit. You know?
Yeah, I believe that. So, Alastair, now we're moving to the game part of our
Yes.
show. It's just a kind of a light segment of the show. And the game that we're going to play is called Either Or. I'll give you a series of 2 options from which you have to pick one, the one that you prefer over the other. It's basically an adaptation of who you'd rather. You know? Okay, cool. Here we go. Practical effects or CGI?
Practical effects.
Oh, why? How come?
No, it's the best. I mean,
Yeah.
It's cheaper, it looks cooler, it's
Sure.
it takes us back to those 80s films.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's way cooler.
Awesome. Okay, cool, man. Directing horror films or action-packed thrillers?
I'm gonna go with action-packed thrillers. Like I've done the horrors now. Like there isn't another horror story that I have inside me. I've done zombies, I've done serial killers, I've done chupacabras, I've done demons, I've done ghosts, I've done enough. Like I can't do everything. So I'll go into the action-packed space.
You've exhausted that.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Collaborating with seasoned actors or discovering new talent?
No, I take the seasoned actors now. Again, it's just a choice because I've only worked with emerging talent. You know, I'd love to sit down and work with a Robert De Niro or something. You know.
And you've paid your dues, man. Adapting a book into a film or creating an original story?
It's a tricky one because I don't have an original story or have a book. You know, so. But yeah, I'd love to. Let's go with a book. If I could choose any book to adapt, it would be. If I could choose any film to make, it would be an adaptation of a book. Yeah.
Filming on location with exotic places or utilizing studio sets for creative control?
No choice, say the location.
Yeah, it's
No
not
choice.
even.
Not even. I'd rather get up in the morning to get that sunset or work late to get the night. Not even a debate. Yeah.
Oh man, exploring dystopian futures or historical periods in storytelling.
Dystopian.
Is it? You love that?
Yeah, Mad Max is one of my favorite.
Yeah. Oh yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Producing a blockbuster franchise or focusing on indie passion projects?
No, you're asking me the easy questions here. Blockbuster.
Hey!
Let's go back to the white privilege question.
Boom, man, that's the stuff.
Give me some challenge here. Yeah.
Love that. Utilizing traditional cinematography techniques or experimenting with avant-garde styles?
No, I'd like to experiment. Yeah. Different lenses, not as wacky as like a Zack Snyder. I don't know if you saw that zombie film that he did. That was like 90% out of focus.
Yeah.
It was too much.
Yeah,
I don't want to go that like. It needs to be like it's commercial for a reason. You know, like.
Cool. What was your favorite film to work on?
I would say my new film. It's Hunting Jessica Brock. It's out April. It's just because like finally after 6 films, like now I've got like the sandbox and the toolbox
Wonderful.
to play with. You know, it's like the first time we had a crane on set and the first time we had a steady cam. You know, like proper tools, and then the access to the proper talent, like art directors, cinematographers. Well, the cinematographer I've used since my second film. Like we've grown up in filmmaking together, but to have access to fight choreographers, stuntmen, that kind of thing. So like you knew whatever you're doing on the day was going to be safe. Whereas before, you know, when you're doing it like in the gutter, like you're taking risks with fights and throws and that kind of stuff. But like to have people that would be like, nope, this is how we're going to do it.
Exactly.
It's been rehearsed. We're going to hang the person from here, do it like this way. Like it was amazing. It was like, it was actually pure directing. Whereas before, I didn't realize how much I had to do on like these no budget movies because there was just no money, you know.
But it does help.
It does help.
Yeah, it does help.
You know what to do in a tricky situation. You know what corners you can quickly cut to get something done if like the fancy stuff is getting out of control.
Love that. Who's your all-time favorite director?
It was definitely Christopher Nolan for a long time. I'm gonna go with James Cameron.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, those.
James Cameron,
Yeah, those two really are. They go head to head in my books. Yeah. What do you think? What did you think of what's this recent one? Nolan's recent one.
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. Yeah.
It was very long.
It was
exceptionally long. I think you could have cut an hour out of it. But like again, like who am I to say that movie made almost like $1 billion.
Yeah,
like
right,
it did well. Like nobody cares what I think on that movie. You know.
Cool, man. So yeah, Alastair, we've come to the end of our show.
Awesome. Thank
man.
you.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for coming.
Rad.
Yeah, you really are one of those people that we look at and we look up to as a team, and we want to learn, you know, how you were able to go from from zero to the hero that you are today.
Thank you. It doesn't always feel like that, and yeah, it's like I was saying, anyone wants to reach out. Our doors are open. It means we want to find the next generation of filmmakers.
Awesome.
Any way we can.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll be sharing your details on the socials.
Cool.
Thanks so much, bro.
Thanks, guys.
Cool. So we'd like to say thank you to Fortune Well, the Dynamic Workspaces, as well as the Magic Lightbox Company for sponsoring this episode.